How's it going, everybody? We have just finished week 12. It is the Monday after. We're going to play some Monday morning quarterback. We're going to do the autopsy. We're going to look back at what happened in week 12. We're going to take a look at my best buys article, see the analysis, where it was right, where it was wrong, see where we got lucky, where we got unlucky, and then we're going to break down my cash game lineup, review my results for the week, and move on so that we can, look at how we've done, be honest with ourselves, and try to get better moving forward. So this is the process that we go through every single week. Thank you guys for tuning in. The chat, as always, is locked down to subscribers only on twitch.tv/Al_Smithel. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for being a part of it. The growth there has been tremendous over the past few weeks. Let's keep that going. If you're new, please click that subscribe button on YouTube and give the video a like before you get done here. Let's try and get 250 likes on the weekend recap video. That seems to be pretty fair for what we're looking for there. So why don't we just get right into it and look at the Best Buys article real quick. We had some hits, we had some misses. Here's the Best Buys article. It's an ESPN Insider piece. If you don't know where it is already, you can go to the little search thing right here, type Zeidenfeld, my last name. That will bring up all of the work that I do on ESPN. Articles, videos, clip outs from 060 pod and everything else. Russ Wilson, he was a smash. He was the high dollar quarterback that we looked for this week. 7K, produced 24.62 points, 20 of 34 on the day for 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and scored a rushing touchdown. For 7K, we know what we're getting out of him, pretty much 25 plus points every single week, as they have absolutely no running game. If we can get back to him, if the price doesn't go up very high in the next few weeks, which I assume it's going to keep climbing, he's going to be somebody we're going to keep attacking in Russ Wilson. Marcus Mariota, big flop here. Don't really understand why the Titans were as conservative, let's just say, as they were, especially with their lead running back, DeMarco Murray, getting like less than 1 yard per carry. They just have not opened this up. I don't know if there's still lingering effects from the injury with Marcus Mariota, but he only took 25 passes, 17 completions out of that, 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Didn't really run, only 3 runs for 4 yards total, 9.76 points. He sucked. And it was in a fantastic matchup against the Colts. I don't know if we can go back to him until the price really comes down there. Ryan Fitzpatrick against Atlanta this week, 27 of 44, 283 yards. Didn't throw any touchdowns. Still had 13.3 DraftKings points. The other 2 players that we liked at the cheap salary, Jacoby Brissett at 8.4. Plenty of trips to the red zone. Frank Gore scores a rushing touchdown. That's never going to be a good thing when you're playing Jacoby Brissett. And Matt Moore couldn't really get it together either with 11.5 points, although at 4.0 only really needed 14 points to reach value. Kareem Hunt, this was the big bust on the slate, and we were talking about this off stream. Let's get into it real quick. 11 carries, 17 yards, no touchdowns. 1 catch on 1 target, 9 yards, 3.6 DraftKings points against one of the best matchups you can get against opposing running backs. Now, it is what it is. Kareem Hunt, the first few weeks of the season was tremendous. A lot of that was coming off of long touchdown runs and long touchdown receptions. That we knew was unsustainable. Here's the real problem, and we dug into this on the Anti-Tinkercast, but I fought right through it and still played Kareem Hunt this week, and that's probably my bad. So that's a process mistake on my standpoint. So my problem is I'm a matchup donkey. I'm always looking for the softest matchup, the path of least resistance. Which team is just going to acquiesce and allow the other team to enforce its will upon them? And usually that has been the Buffalo Bills. And we've played every running back against the Buffalo Bills. They were the second worst team in terms of defense versus position on the year, DVP, against opposing running backs. Over the last month, they've allowed like 170 yards per game to opposing running backs. Now you have Kareem Hunt. The problem with Kareem Hunt is early in the season, he was getting 3.5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage before first contact. The last 5 weeks, he's been getting 1.5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage before first contact. Much tougher for him to be successful when he doesn't get, when he gets touched right at the line of scrimmage as opposed to getting touched after 4 yards, because he does have tackle breaking ability, but when there's people in the backfield constantly, it becomes a problem. They also haven't been utilizing him that much. Alex Smith has not been as good as he was the first 5 weeks of the season. So that entire Kansas City offense is sputtering. We were off Kareem Hunt 2 weeks ago when he was the chalk in week 11. I was back on him this week because of the matchup with Buffalo, which was essentially my last chance for Kareem Hunt on the season. Until something changes, I probably won't be on Kareem Hunt the rest of this year, or anybody in the Chiefs offense not named Travis Kelce, because they just can't get it done. Kelsey's the only one that can really get active on a week-to-week basis, but his price is so restrictive that it makes it difficult. Tevin Coleman did exceptionally well, 19 carries. We knew the volume would be there. 20 carries 2 weeks ago, 20 carries last week, 19 carries in week 12, 97 yards, capped it off with a 13-yard touchdown run when we needed 16 for the 100-yard bonus. Scored 2 on the day. I'll take it. 21.7 DraftKings points. One of the better plays on the board. Devontae Booker kind of busted out. Got a little bit unlucky here. End of the day with 5.3 points. If you look at it through the box score, you see that he only had 8 touches, 6 carries, 11 yards, 2 catches on 2 targets. So you say, well, the volume really wasn't there. But you know what? He outsnapped every other Denver running back, played just under 50% of the snaps. Also, they went to review. He had a touchdown. They went to review and put the ball on the 1-yard line and then handed to him on first down and then play action on second down. So we theoretically should have had a touchdown on the catch, could have had a touchdown on first down. Would have made his score a lot more palatable because his salary at $3.7K, we would have had about 11.5 points, 11.3 points, whatever it would have been. It would have just been one of those where we survived and advanced through it. As it was, we didn't. He still is going to see the most snaps moving forward. Although the Broncos offense is just sputtering and sputtering and sputtering. Carlos Hyde, 13 targets, once again, something we have to pay attention to moving forward pretty much every week. Any running back that's going to get as many looks as he is in the passing game is going to be viable on DraftKings and in full PPR everywhere. Dion Lewis got vultured at the goal line twice early in the game by Rex Burkhead, still finished with 15 carries for 112 yards and the bonus, 1 catch on 2 targets, 15.3 points. If he scores one of those 2 touchdowns, we're thinking, why the hell didn't we play Dion Lewis? As it was early in the game, people were kicking themselves for playing Dion Lewis over Rex Burkhead because troll season of 2017 NFL continues. But realistically speaking, Dion Lewis paid off salary with 15.3 points and no touchdowns. Here was the cover boy of the week, Julio Jones. Last sentence of the, look at how long I wrote about him. This was the thing. I fully understand if you're shell-shocked and aren't willing to come along with me on the Julio Jones death train. They cut out death train. I didn't realize that the editors cut out death train. On the Julio Jones death train once again, but I'm all aboard choo-choo. Yep, I wasn't as all aboard as I should have been. I had about 40% in tournaments, 40% in tournaments, something like that. I had him in 100% of my cash games across both sites. 12 catches on 15 targets, 253 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Mount St. Julio finally erupted in week 12. And caught a touchdown from Mohamed Sanu, which, awesome. Corey Davis, another one that I think we got unlucky here, so hear me out. Corey Davis with 4 catches on 4 targets, 39 yards, no touchdowns, ended the day with 7.9 points. It really hurts considering the other players at that price point were Sammy Watkins and Cooper Kupp, who are interest in had risen throughout the week as New Orleans cornerbacks were essentially just out, and with Woods out, you knew that the usage was going to get funneled to those two mostly in Los Angeles Rams passing game. Corey Davis played 42 of 58 snaps for Tennessee. He ran the most routes of any Tennessee wide receiver. 42 routes run on 25 pass attempts. 14 and 9 were the second 2 wide receiver routes run, as tweeted out by Adam Levitan in the research that he did, kind of doing his own autopsy. So something's wrong with Marcus Mariota, or they just ignored the fact that this cat was out there all the time. If you tell me before the slate that Corey Davis was going to be playing against Indianapolis, run 3 to 4 times as many routes as the second most routes run by any wide receiver on his team, and play 80-something% of the snaps, I'm going to have as much Corey Davis as I have and probably more. So I think the process was right here. I think we got unlucky. Hunt, we didn't get unlucky. That was a bad play. Obviously, this one, I believe that we were unlucky here. Sammy Watkins comes through, 18.2 DraftKings points, 4 catches, 9 targets. We knew that his target rate would come up from like the 4 game that he was seeing. He more than doubled that. 82 yards and a touchdown, 18.2 DraftKings points. Via the Anti-Tinkercast, we were off of A.J. Green. He disappointed. Mohamed Sanu, though, 20.4 points on the day with a touchdown pass, 8 catches on 9 targets. Jimmy Graham scored a touchdown with his immense red zone usage, which has really turned Doug Baldwin into just a mediocre player with as much as they're hammering Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham probably the best receiver to own in terms of touchdown upside on Seattle. 3 catches on 6 targets, 34 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Kroft making the flow chart 21 of 22 on the season, 3 of 4 for 14 yards and a touchdown, 10.4 DraftKings points. Jack Doyle, the best play of all of them, 16.4 points, 7 catches on 8 targets, 94 yards no touchdowns. The defenses, the Bengals had 5 points on 4 sacks, no turnovers. The Raiders 5 sacks, 1 turnover, and 8 DraftKings points. We're going to take a quick look at my cash game lineup. I did not do exceptionally well this week on DraftKings in terms of cash. I split the day on FD. DraftKings, just not enough points, too many mistakes. Definitely had Coleman, who was a smash. Definitely had Julio Jones, which was a smash. The problem is, in high stakes, we talk about this on a lot of different shows, how people ask, is the game is easier at high stakes or harder at high stakes? The game is tougher because you've got people with better information expressing that. When we look at that with the ownership levels at the higher stakes versus the lower stakes in the same exact games. So in my $5, $10, and $20 head-to-heads, I had a much higher win percentage than in my 100 or the 109, the 215, and the 530s. Because everybody basically had Julio Jones and we all canceled each other out, and everybody had Tevin Coleman. We all canceled each other out. So it came down to a lot of the other spots on your lineup. So looking at my lineup here, I had Jacoby Brissett, Tevin Coleman, Kareem Hunt was the big bust, Corey Davis, 75% owned in the 4-man from the Edge Pod. As we said, process was good, got unlucky here. Process was good if you like matchups, bad if you look at how bad Kansas City was the last 5-6 weeks. Julio Jones, absolute smash. D.D. Westbrook pays off value. Jimmy Graham probably should have come down here with how high Jimmy Graham was, 5,800 to Jack Doyle, who we knew was going to get peppered with targets. And Devontae Booker missed a touchdown. Bengals D instead of Eagles D here was probably a mistake, or Raiders D, also probably a mistake to pay up for the Bengals defense. But I like targeting Cleveland. So I won like 25% of my head-to-head games this week after a week where I won 121 of 122 in week 11. So disappointing week for me this week on DraftKings. Definitely I'll take the L here. My problem was Kareem Hunt. If I pay for basically any other running back in that zone, probably wasn't going to be Alvin Kamara, who was ridiculous. I had like 5 or 6% of him in tournaments, but wasn't going to play him in cash. Most other running backs would have exceeded 3.6K for the 3.6 points for the 8K that Kareem Hunt cost. D.D. Westbrook was fine. Corey Davis, again, if he becomes the other person that we wrote up, Sammy Watkins in Best Buys, if I pivot to him, it's 18 points. But again, I think the process was fine there. So I'm just going to take the L here in week 12. I'm fine with that. It is what it is. I'd rather win, obviously, but you're not going to win every single week. The important thing is we're coming up on championship month right now in daily fantasy. Week 13 brings us the King of the Beach Championship. Week 14, I've got the FanDuel Championship here in Laguna in Los Angeles. Week 15, I'm going to Miami to play in the DraftKings Championship with $2 million up top, $1 million to second place, 200 runners in that final. So I have tickets to all 3 finals this year. I'm going to consider that an accomplishment. We're going to see how well we can do these next 3 weeks. I'm glad to have gotten this stinker out the way so we can get back to the process and figure out how to win moving forward. Real consistently, it's catch another heater for the next 3 weeks, because you know what? This is when all the money's on the line. This is the most important part of the NFL season for a big-time player. So thank you guys for joining me. If you're still watching on YouTube, you have not clicked that like or subscribe button yet, please do. Leave me a note in the comment section. Let me know how you like this video, and stay tuned for our Week 13 first look. We're going to take a non-research look. We're going to take an unblemished look. No research. I have not looked at any articles. I haven't listened to any podcasts. Just off the top of our heads, how we can take a look at this slate to break it down. And based on how the past first looks have done, they've actually done pretty well just using matchups and the knowledge that we have gained over the course of the season. So thanks for joining, guys. We'll catch you later. Bye, everybody.